to the reality revolution. This is the 90-day prosperity transformation. We are going to activate your wealth explosion timeline, and this is going to happen in the next 90 days. Time is not linear. It's a construct, a canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your existence. Right now, in this quantum symphony of potential, your prosperity is already unfolding across infinite parallel tracks. The next 90 days represents a portal, a crystallization point where consciousness collapses possibility into reality. The version of you that already exists in this abundant future is reaching backward through time. Yes. Reaching backward, creating a closed, timelike curve, a loop of manifestation that's activating in your neural pathways at this very moment. This is an important activation because I want to teach you how to communicate with your future self. If you've done past future self meditations and activations with me, we've connected with your future self at the end of your life. Now I want to strengthen your ability to communicate with previous versions of yourself. And in 90 days from today, you're going to sit down and for a few moments, you're going to connect to yourself 90 days ago and send information back. Because we're going to create a time loop, like a Groundhog's Day. Every time you go through this time loop, it's going to get better and better. So by the time you experience this 90-day loop, you will have the most amazing 90 days you could imagine. This isn't passive meditation. This isn't theoretical visualization. This is active reality engineering, where the boundaries between observer and observed dissolve and become both the creator and the experience of your prosperity explosion. The wealth codes embedded in this activation are reconfiguring your relationship with abundance at the quantum level. Literal instructions for your consciousness to follow into a dimension where financial limitation is as foreign as breathing underwater. Now stay with me for the next few minutes, and together, we'll hack the operating system of your reality. The timeline where prosperity flows to you with magnetic inevitability isn't just possible, it's imminent. It's waiting for you to step into it. And that step begins now. And you might be curious about how certain moments, particular moments in time, seem to stand out in your memory. The human mind has this fascinating ability to recognize, sometimes immediately, sometimes only in retrospect, those pivotal instances that changed everything that followed. Once I worked with someone who noticed how a simple decision made on an ordinary afternoon set in motion a series of events that completely transformed their financial world over the course of just 3 months. They didn't realize it at the time. How could they? But later, looking back, they could see so clearly how everything shifted from that point forward. And as you listen to my voice right now, part of you might already be sensing that quiet knowing, that deeper awareness that this moment, right here, contains something valuable for you. Something that your unconscious mind is already beginning to process and understand in its own way. Over the next 90 days, your conscious mind may be occupied with all manner of daily activities, cooking breakfast, driving to work, having conversations, making decisions, while your unconscious mind that deeper, wiser part of you begins arranging and rearranging possibilities, creating new connections, opening pathways to prosperity that may have always been right there, waiting to be discovered. And I wonder which day it will be. Perhaps the 37th day, or maybe the 62nd, when you first notice yourself smiling at the subtle changes that have already begun. Because 90 days from now, looking back at this moment, you might be quite surprised at how this ordinary day, listening to these simple words, became your turning point that your future self remembers with such gratitude and clarity. So you can allow yourself to simply listen in whatever way feels right for you, because your unconscious mind knows exactly how to use what's helpful in just the right way, at just the right time for you. You see, we've all fallen for a magnificent hoax. This notion that prosperity is something separate from ourselves, something to be chased after, pursued, hunted, like some elusive creature in the forest of life. And so we find ourselves in this peculiar situation where money appears to be in short supply, where bills stack up with alarming enthusiasm, and where financial anxiety seems to be the background music of your existence. But isn't it odd, this whole game we're playing? And you really look at it, really look at it, you'll notice that money is nothing but a symbol, a token, in an elaborate game of mutual agreement. It's rather like water in a river. The trouble begins when we try to grab it and hold on tight. The tighter we grasp, the less we actually possess. You might be sitting there thinking, well, that's all very philosophical, but my bank account is still what it is. And you'd be absolutely right. That's the beauty of it. Your current financial situation is indeed what it is, but only in the same way that a single frame of film is what it is. It doesn't tell you anything about the entire movie, does it? The most common mistake we make is believing that our present circumstances represent some kind of solid, permanent reality. But that's not how the universe operates. You see, reality is much more like a flowing river than a fixed photograph. The financial difficulties you may be experiencing are simply a temporary pattern, a passing cloud formation in the vast sky of your life. Consider for a moment that all possibilities exist simultaneously. Just as white light contains all the colors of the rainbow when passed through a prism, your existence contains all possible variations of yourself, including the tremendously wealthy version. These parallel experiences aren't somewhere off in the distant future. They exist now in this eternal present moment, and you can sense into it. You can see what is happening in those other parallel experiences. It's like a television set which receives hundreds of channels simultaneously. Though you only watch one at a time, all those other programs are still being broadcast, aren't they? You simply haven't tuned into them. The prosperous version of yourself isn't something to be created. It already exists. It's simply a matter of changing the channel, of tuning your receiver to a different frequency. So the question becomes not how do I create prosperity, but rather how do I tune in to the prosperity that already exists? How do I embody the future self of me in 90 days that has received this explosion of prosperity? Isn't that a marvelous shift in perspective? The wealth you seek isn't separated from you by time or effort. It's separated only by attention and awareness. And that, my friends, is something you can begin adjusting right now in this eternal present moment. Let's begin by understanding what's happening in your brain right now as you allow yourself to focus on prosperity consciousness. Your frontal lobe is firing in new patterns. This is important because when you activate these neural networks, you're literally changing your brain's chemistry. And when you change your brain's chemistry, you change your life. Remember, the quantum field responds not to what you want, but to what you're being. So let me ask you, are you being the wealthy version of yourself right now? Because the science shows us that when you embody that prosperity energy, before the physical evidence appears, you're sending a clear signal to the field. I've documented hundreds of cases where individuals have created significant financial breakthroughs using these exact principles. I have a client that I've worked with, and for 7 years she struggled with a financial ceiling she couldn't break through. But after just 4 weeks of practicing becoming her wealthy future self, she received an unexpected business opportunity that increased her income by 340% within 60 days. Now close your eyes for a moment, or keep them open if you're engaged in another activity. It doesn't matter, because your autonomic nervous system is already responding to these concepts. What matters is that you begin rehearsing your new financial reality with such intensity that your body begins to believe it's happening right now in this moment. Imagine stepping into your future morning routine 90 days from now. Notice the feeling of checking your accounts and seeing the abundance flowing in multiple streams. Pay attention to the specific emotion that arises when you recognize your new financial freedom. Allow that elevated emotion to become the magnetic attractor that pulls that reality to you from the infinite potential of the quantum field. This is not positive thinking. This is not affirmation. This is changing your energetic signature based on the latest understandings of neuroscience and quantum physics. When you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you're no longer living in the past programming of lack. You're inhabiting a new state of being. Let me tell you about another client I have who came to me with tremendous debt and financial anxiety. So for 20 minutes each day, he practiced becoming one with abundance. He didn't just visualize it, he generated the emotion of gratitude and excitement as if his financial transformation had already happened. Within 3 months, his consulting business attracted 2 major clients that he previously would have believed were out of his league. Here's what the research shows. When you dwell in possibility long enough, the brain cannot distinguish between the internal experience and the external reality. Your body, as the unconscious mind, begins to accept this new prosperous reality as the current truth. So right now, I want you to step into that timeline where financial abundance is your natural state. Within 90 days, feel how your shoulders relax when money is no longer a source of stress. Notice how your breathing changes when prosperity flows to you effortlessly. Just like the air you breathe, you can breathe as much as you want of it. Experience how your interactions with others transform when you approach life from a place of abundance rather than scarcity. Someone else that I worked with was facing bankruptcy when he began this work, but he committed to living from his future prosperity daily, even in the face of bankruptcy. Instead of reacting to his current circumstances, he disciplined himself to respond from his future wealthy self, and he was able to focus on a 90-day window. The neurochemicals of stress and survival were replaced with compounds of creation and possibility. And within 90 days, the exact time frame we're working with today, he had restructured his business, attracted new investors, and created a completely new financial trajectory. The latest brain scans show us that when you practice this prosperity consciousness regularly, you're pruning away the old neural connections of lack and limitation while building new abundance networks. You're literally rewiring your neurocircuitry to make prosperity your default setting rather than something you occasionally experience. So I invite you right now to breathe into that future reality. Let the energy of your future prosperous self become more real from the memories of financial struggle. When you do this, you're stepping outside of linear time and into the eternal now, where all possibilities exist simultaneously. The quantum field doesn't respond to what you want. It does not respond to what you need. It doesn't even respond to what you believe. It responds to who you're being. So right now, become the prosperity you wish to experience, and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match this new energetic signature that you're broadcasting. Now, I didn't explain as much in the beginning what this is, what an activation really is. Activations do not require progressive relaxation, breathing techniques, or for you to close your eyes. When you're active, when you're moving around, I am triggering the deepest part of you. When you can embody your future self, become that version of yourself while you're doing what you normally do while you're walking or cooking, that's when you can truly begin to see the shifts start to happen. And I am using very specific sequences of words, some which might not make sense. Some might distract you. But these frequencies, these patterns, these linguistic technologies enable me to create shifts within your subconscious mind just by listening. It's magical. It's so special. It's such an amazing thing that you can listen to a single activation and your entire life changes forever. That's what we're doing. Listen, my friend, let's get one thing straight. Right now, you are a money magnet, period. Full stop. This isn't something you need to become. It's who you already are when you strip away all the BS stories society has fed you about worthiness and wealth. Your relationship with money isn't broken. It's been operating on outdated programming. And we are doing a complete system upgrade in this activation, because wealth isn't just something you do or something you have. It's something that you are. I want you to feel this in your body right now. You're the kind of person who naturally attracts abundance. Say it with me. I'm the kind of person who naturally attracts abundance. Do you feel that? That's your cells rearranging to match this truth. The universe is wildly abundant, and it's practically begging to support you financially. The only thing standing between you and overflowing wealth is your willingness to claim it as your birthright, not as something you need to hustle for, but as the natural expression of your divine essence. Your bank account is simply a reflection of your energetic relationship with prosperity. And we are upgrading that relationship right now. When you walk through the world as someone who is worthy of wealth, the world responds accordingly. Now imagine yourself 90 days from now. You're walking down the street with a completely different energy. You've become the version of yourself who naturally notices money-making opportunities everywhere. That business idea, you pursued it. That investment, you made it. That rate increase, you implemented it. And it all came from this identity shift we're activating right now. Money is just energy. And you, my friends, are an energetic being with the power to calibrate to any financial frequency you choose. So let's choose wealthy as, shall we? Picture yourself opening your banking app 90 days from now. Notice the numbers you see. Feel the calm confidence that comes from knowing you're a magnet for financial abundance. Experience the delicious knowing that this is just the beginning of your wealth explosion. When you go to bed tonight, your subconscious mind will continue integrating this prosperity identity. You'll start noticing money opportunities that were always there but previously invisible to you. A random conversation will spark a profitable idea. An email will contain an unexpected opportunity. A problem you solve easily will become a revenue stream. This is what happens when you become the embodiment of your future self, your future prosperous self. Look at the world around you. Everything you see started as energy before it became matter. Your financial reality works the same way. The energy of prosperity you're cultivating right now in this moment is already materializing in ways logical minds could not possibly predict. Think of your prosperity identity as your energetic wardrobe. You're no longer wearing the hand-me-down of lack and limitation. You're dressed in the couture of abundance, custom fitted to your unique gifts and desires, and you wear it well. Remember, wealthy people make decisions their broke selves would never make. From this moment forward, you're making decisions as your wealthy self. When opportunities appear, and they will appear, you'll recognize them instantly because you're vibrating at the frequency of abundance rather than scarcity. Your 90-day transformation isn't about following some rigid formula for success. It's about becoming so aligned with your prosperity identity that success becomes the natural byproduct of who you are being. The money is coming to you because it's coming from you, from this wealthy essence that we're activating right now. So stand tall in this truth. You are meant to be wealthy. You are meant to thrive. You are meant to experience the freedom that comes from financial abundance, not someday in the distant future, but starting right now in this powerful activation. And you might find yourself wondering, as people often do, about the nature of identity, how it forms, how it changes, how certain aspects of ourselves can remain dormant until precisely the right moment when they begin to awaken. I once knew a man who discovered quite by accident that he had always been carrying a prosperity consciousness within him, much like a seed carries within it the complete blueprint of a magnificent tree. He hadn't recognized it for many, many years until a series of seemingly unrelated events brought this dormant part of himself into his awareness. And as you listen to my words, you might become curious about which parts of your own prosperity identity have been quietly waiting for this particular moment to begin stirring into life. Some people notice this awakening first in their dreams, others in their casual thoughts throughout the day, while still others might observe subtle changes in how they naturally respond to opportunities around them. The human mind has this remarkable ability to reorganize itself, to integrate new understandings, sometimes while you're completely focused on something else entirely. And your unconscious mind, that deeper wisdom within you, already knows exactly which aspects of your prosperity identity are ready to be activated now in perfect timing for your journey. I'm reminded of a woman who, without deliberately trying to change her financial situation, began noticing certain patterns around her, small details about money flowing that had always been present, but somehow hadn't registered in her awareness before. It might have been the way she naturally began pausing before making spending decisions, or perhaps how she found herself smiling when thinking about her financial future. And you may be surprised at some point over the next 90 days to discover yourself responding differently to situations involving money and opportunity. These responses might feel so natural, so authentically your own, you might even forget there was ever a time when you responded differently. Some have shared with me how they found themselves spontaneously having new ideas about creating value or recognizing opportunities that their conscious mind might have overlooked before. And while I can know exactly how your unique prosperity identity will express itself, I do know that your unconscious mind is already beginning to sort through possibilities, making connections, preparing pathways. When you look back 90 days from now, you might be quite interested to notice the subtle shift that began today, perhaps in ways that aren't entirely obvious yet. The way certain thoughts about wealth feel more comfortable, more familiar, more naturally your own. The way certain decisions become easier to make because they align with who you're becoming, or perhaps who you've always been beneath the surface. And just as naturally as you recognize the face of an old friend, you'll begin to recognize yourself in this prosperity consciousness as it integrates more fully with every passing day, with every choice you make, with every opportunity you notice, with every response that comes from this authentic part of yourself. Your unconscious mind will continue this integration while you sleep, while you work, while you engage in completely unrelated activities, organizing and reorganizing your understanding in ways that serve your highest good, in ways that allow your prosperity identity to express itself more fully, more naturally, more completely. Identity, that magnificent neural architecture that defines not just who you are, but who you become. You exist as a walking narrative, a story encoded in the symphony of your neurons, and right now, in this extraordinary moment of concentrated potential, you are rewriting the fundamental code of your prosperity consciousness. What happens when you suddenly recognize that abundance isn't something external to be pursued, but an internal landscape already mapped into your potential? The boundaries between present limitation and future wealth will collapse into a singularity of possibility. Your brain doesn't distinguish between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. Both create the same neurological footprints, the same synaptic connections. So when you project yourself 90 days into your prosperity future with such sensory richness and emotional intensity, you're literally installing the neural architecture of wealth before the external reality catches up. In 90 days, you won't just have more wealth. You will be wealth incarnate, the externalization of an internal revolution, the physical manifestation of this consciousness upgrade we're installing right now. This is not metaphorical, this is metaphysical in the most literal sense. The meta-programming of your physical reality through the reprogramming of the mind that perceives it. Feel the synaptic rewiring happening in real time. Experience the neurochemical cascade of your prosperity identity activation. This is the moment where potential becomes kinetic, where the theoretical explodes into the experiential. Your prosperity isn't coming, it's emerging from within the quantum field of your own consciousness. The quantum field, that magnificent cosmic substrate where all possibilities exist in superposition. It's not some abstract theoretical construct. It's the fundamental architecture of reality itself, the canvas upon which consciousness paints its infinite expressions. Consider this mind-bending possibility. Time is not linear, but simultaneous, all moments existing at once in an eternal now. And what you perceive as past, present, and future is simply different coordinates in this vast field of potential. Which means your future wealthy self isn't something to be created. It already exists. It's already breathing, thinking, experiencing abundance in ways your current self is just beginning to imagine. Your consciousness isn't confined to this single point in space-time. It's a non-local phenomenon that transcends conventional boundaries. Right now, as you listen to my words, part of your awareness is already resonating with that future self who has mastered prosperity. You're already connected across that 90-day gap through the quantum entanglement of your own consciousness. Visualize it. See it. Imagine it. A luminous loop of energy connecting you now and you 90 days from now. A closed circuit of information flowing bidirectionally. As your future self is remembering this moment of activation, you are simultaneously pre-membering their state of abundance. This is a literal consciousness technology that we're activating right now. It's a secret. Nobody needs to know about it but you and I. We're creating a time loop. The you from 90 days in the future is already sending back signals, intuitive nudges, spontaneous insights, unexpected inspirations that seem to arise from nowhere but are actually transmissions through this quantum corridor we're establishing. Feel the resonance of that connection intensifying with each breath, every heartbeat, every firing of your synapses. See this future self in your mind's eye, not as some vague outline, but in vivid technicolor detail. Notice how they carry themselves with effortless confidence. Observe how money flows to them through multiple channels with elegant simplicity. Witness how you navigate wealth opportunities with intuitive precision. This is not imagination, it's remote viewing across the quantum field. Now establish communication. Ask your future self, what was the pivotal decision that accelerates my prosperity in the next 90 days? Now listen. Listen for the response that bubbles up spontaneously in your awareness. That wasn't just a thought. That was a quantum transmission from your future consciousness. We are time travelers. Ask again, what opportunities should I be alert for in the coming weeks? The answer that forms is not random. It's a data packet transmitted back through this temporal loop. Your future self is feeding you the exact guidance needed to collapse the time frame of your transformation, perhaps through the dream state or in your meditational state. Through the help of your higher self, this dialogue isn't happening in some hypothetical space. It's occurring in the quantum interface between time frames. A conversation across the unified field of your own consciousness. Your subconscious mind is already processing these transmissions, preparing to recognize the pattern matches in your external reality. Now anchor this connection with your future self. Associate this quantum communication with an everyday trigger, perhaps the moment you check your phone in the morning or when you wash your hands. Each time you experience this trigger, information will flow instantaneously from your future self at some point in time. Guidance arriving as intuitive knowing rather than analytical thought. The most profound aspect of this quantum connection is the collapsing of timelines. As you integrate your future self's prosperity consciousness into your present awareness, you're not just receiving information, you're accelerating your transformation. You're creating a temporal feedback loop that amplifies the probability of your wealthy timeline. What was once a 90-day journey can now unfold in compressed time because you're not creating prosperity from scratch, you're remembering it forward. You're experiencing the neurological echoes of wealth that your future self has already experienced, creating a recursive loop of manifestation that transcends linear causality. We're not just visualizing or daydreaming, it's actualization across quantum dimensions. The boundary between you now and you then dissolves in this field of unified awareness, leaving only the pure experience of prosperity consciousness that exists beyond time itself. The 90 days haven't just begun, they've already happened, already succeeded, already transformed you at the most fundamental level of reality. Now, I want to walk you through exactly how this prosperity transformation unfolds over the next 90 days, because there's a specific sequence to how your financial reality can shift. And when you understand these phases, you'll recognize the changes as they happen in real time. The first 30 days is the awareness and recognition phase. During this initial period, you'll experience a fundamental shift in how you perceive money and opportunity. You'll suddenly notice a heightened awareness of wealth-related conversations happening around you. Information about prosperity that was always there will begin to stand out, almost as if it's highlighted. Unexpected ideas about income streams will appear in your mind when you least expect them. Maybe while you're showering or driving or just about to fall asleep. You'll start noticing opportunities you previously would have walked right past. Small synchronistic encounters will unfold that feel financially significant. Perhaps a conversation with a stranger, an article that catches your attention, or an invitation that arrives out of nowhere. Your dreams and morning thoughts will contain prosperity concepts that seem to come from beyond your conscious mind. And you'll naturally experience a decrease in those old scarcity-based reactions when financial situations arise. Pay close attention to these subtle shifts. They aren't coincidental. They're evidence that your prosperity timeline is activating. When you notice these markers, acknowledge them consciously. This recognition strengthens the pathways of your new prosperity identity. Take inspired action on at least one insight that comes through during this phase. Even a small step signals to both your conscious and subconscious mind that you're committed to this transformation. When we move into days 31 through 60, the momentum and expansion phase is where you'll begin experiencing tangible evidence of your prosperity shift. Initial financial improvements will appear in unexpected ways. You might receive an unexpected refund, a discount, or an opportunity to earn additional income. You'll feel a growing sense of confidence in your financial decisions, making choices with clarity rather than fear or doubt. Opportunities for increased income or value creation will present themselves, and you'll recognize them immediately. Other people will start commenting on changes they notice in you. Perhaps they'll mention that you seem more confident, more certain, more aligned when you speak about money or the future. You'll experience decreased stress when thinking about finances. There will be a natural desire to upgrade your financial knowledge or systems, and most importantly, a clear direction for wealth growth will emerge from what previously felt confusion or limitation. The middle phase is where momentum builds. What started as subtle shifts in awareness now manifest as real-world changes. Trust this momentum. Follow the breadcrumbs of prosperity that are appearing in your experience. During this phase, implement one significant upgrade to how you manage, track, or think about money. This doesn't need to be complex. Simplicity often creates the most powerful results. And then we enter the final 30 days, the integration and acceleration phase. This is where the most dramatic changes occur. Concrete financial improvements become evident in your reality. There's a natural alignment with abundance that feels effortless, as if you've always been this way. Opportunities arrive at an accelerated pace, sometimes faster than you can process them. You'll receive recognition from others about your prosperity as they witness the transformation taking place. You'll make intuitive financial decisions that yield positive results without the overthinking that once characterized your approach. Your new prosperity identity will feel completely natural, as if you've always been this person, and you'll have a clear vision for your continued wealth expansion beyond these 90 days. During this integration phase, what initially required conscious effort now becomes your default state. The prosperity consciousness you've been cultivating becomes fully embodied in how you think, feel, and act. Make one bold decision during this phase that your previous self would have hesitated to make. This decision will act as a powerful pattern interrupt that cements your new timeline. Throughout this 90-day journey, you can accelerate your transformation using specific time distortion principles. First, celebrate each evidence of change, no matter how small. The acknowledgement collapses the time required for manifestation. Second, practice future memory by regularly reviewing your day from the perspective of your 90-day future self, noting which experiences were most significant to your transformation. Third, use the phrase, "I'm noticing more and more," followed by prosperity evidence you desire to see. This linguistic pattern signals your brain to find confirming evidence. And fourth, create deliberate anchors that trigger your prosperity consciousness, perhaps a specific gesture, visualization, or phrase that instantly connects you to your wealthy identity. Remember, this 90-day framework isn't rigid. Some people experience their most significant breakthroughs in the first few weeks, while others see a more gradual buildup with dramatic shifts near the end. Trust this unique timing of your personal prosperity unfolding, while knowing with absolute certainty that your transformation is already in motion. The timeline has been activated, and your prosperity is unfolding. Now say these affirmations with me as a signal to your subconscious mind, as new thoughts, as new ideas, replacing the old ones, reprogramming your current self into your future self. I am noticing more and more money-making opportunities appearing in my daily experience. I am noticing more and more synchronicities guiding me toward greater financial abundance. I am noticing more and more evidence that my prosperity consciousness is already transforming my reality. I am noticing more and more how my relationship with wealth is shifting into perfect alignment. I am noticing more and more how my future wealthy self influences my current decisions and actions. My prosperity consciousness is activated and expanding with each passing moment. I am the conscious creator of unlimited wealth in my experience. Money flows to me through expected and unexpected channels with perfect timing. My awareness of prosperity opportunities is heightened and crystal clear. The 90-day prosperity transformation is already complete at the quantum level. Each day, my financial reality transforms in increasingly powerful ways. I release all resistance to receiving immense prosperity within the next 90 days. The quantum field responds instantly to my prosperity consciousness. I am worthy of extraordinary wealth, and I allow it to flow to me now. My prosperity timeline is activated and unfolding with perfect precision. I trust the wisdom of my future self, who has already mastered abundance. My prosperity identity is my natural state of being. I am aligned with the infinite abundance of the universe. My financial breakthroughs accelerate with each passing day. I am receiving a wealth explosion in the next 90 days. And now we come to this sacred moment of integration, this divine opportunity to anchor this prosperity consciousness into the cellular structure of your being. What we're doing is nothing less than a spiritual technology for manifestation, where your future self and your present self commune in the eternal now. Feel this truth vibrating in your consciousness. You are the power. Not your circumstances, not your history, not your bank account. You are the power that makes the invisible visible. Your prosperity isn't coming to you, it's emerging through you as you align with the infinite abundance of the universe. I invite you now to establish a holy communion with your future self. Speak to this aspect of your being who has already traversed these 90 days of transformation. Say inwardly, reveal to me the wisdom that will accelerate my prosperity journey. And then listen from that deep place of inner knowing. The answers aren't coming from outside. They're arising from the wisdom already encoded within you. In this moment, anchor this vibration of prosperity consciousness to something you encounter daily. Perhaps when your feet touch the floor in the morning, let that be a trigger that automatically activates this state of prosperity awareness. Or when you touch a doorknob, let that simple action remind your subconscious mind, I am entering my field of infinite abundance. Or when you wash your hands, feel yourself washing away any limitation and revealing the prosperity that has always been there. Between now and the next time we meet in this activation space, notice how your consciousness begins to shift. Pay attention to the synchronicities that appear, the perfect conversations, the aligned opportunities, the inner nudges guiding you toward greater abundance. Your assignment, if you choose to accept it, is to document these shifts. And as you notice the power of this activation working in your life, consider sharing this transmission with someone who's already ready for their own prosperity breakthrough. Not from a place of ego, but from a place of service, because when we elevate one, we elevate all. We're not just creating individual wealth, we are participating in the evolution of collective abundance consciousness on this planet. I look forward to continuing this journey with you to dive deeper into these prosperity principles, to activate even more powerful dimensions of abundance in your life, because this is just the beginning. This is just the first wave of a prosperity tsunami that is unfolding in your experience. Remember, you're not here to struggle. You're not here to survive. You're here to thrive. You're here to prosper. You are here to experience the full abundance of this magnificent universe. Welcome to the reality revolution.